Today I'll be guiding you through how to change your backdrop or background color in Photoshop, and I'll be using two images from pixel.com. I'll include the links down in the description so you can easily follow along. With that being said, let's get started. So we're in Photoshop now, and this is the first image we're going to use. To change the background, we're just going to go here, press on solid color, and change this to perhaps blue, and press OK. Change the blending mode to multiply. Duplicate this by holding Alt or Command J and change the blending mode for this to screen. So we need to understand that multiply darkens and screen brightens. And when we look at this layer right here, is brightening the dark part. So it's supposed to brighten the brightest parts and leave the dark parts. But right now, as we can see, the dark parts are also being brightened as well, which we don't want, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to double click here, and we're just going to adjust this by shifting it like so around here, and it's a bit sharp going forward. So from 8 going, you can adjust it according to whatever picture you have. But with this picture, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do alt or option on the Mac and just slide this like this, like that. I think this looks good. We can come back and adjust it if it doesn't look okay when we put in the colors behind the background. So I think this looks fine. I press OK. So I hold shift to select these two and put them in a group. So when we look at this, it's covering the subject and we want to let it affect just the background. So we'll toggle this off, go on this layer and choose any object selection tool of your preference. So I'll just use quick selection tool. And if you're on a newer version of Photoshop, you can press on this drop down and press on cloud. Or if you're using the older version of Photoshop, you can also press select and mask, which I'm going to do right here. So select and mask, and you're going to press select subject. Now make sure you are on the onion skin so there's no background behind it, and make sure transparency is 100%. And when we zoom in, we can see there's a few errors on this. So we're going to use the brush tool to brush in and brush out the places that we don't want. So I'll do that quickly. And now I can put maybe a color overlay on this so I can see it much clearly. To select the hair, I'm using this tool to select the hair and press decontamination. So with that being selected, we're going to press OK, and we're going to press on this layer, toggle it on, and press on this. Now it's affecting the subject, which we don't want, so we're going to invert it. And what we're going to do is we're going to press Alt or Command I on the Mac, and it reflects on the background. To change the background color, we're going to use hue and saturation. So we come down on this drop down and press here. Make sure it's clipped onto this layer, and then we can easily change the color to whichever color we want, and that looks very good. Now when we zoom in, if I use maybe this color, when I zoom in closely, there's a bit of glow, there's a bit of a spill on the shoes from the original picture, which was yellow. If you can see clearly, there's a bit of spill of the yellow. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take our brush tool and make sure the hardness is set to 0 and increase the size a little bit. And we're just going to dampen around the picture so that we spill the color of our choice onto the subject so that it looks real. So just dampen the side a little bit like that so that we take away the spill of the yellow. Yeah, beautiful. Just increase it a little bit more. I think on this side you can see the spill more, so you just have to make sure it's... Now, as I go along, I can see I made a few mistakes in my selection, so I can go back and use the brush tool to brush over it as well, and just make sure it's changed to black. Reduce the size. So I can use the brush tool to go around it and just basically fix the parts that needs fixing. So I think I'll set the hardness to 0. Change this to white and then brighten. Yes, so that's the first image done and looks good. We're gonna go to the second image, and this is the image we have. We're gonna basically do the same thing we did to the first image. So we're gonna go here, solid color, change it perhaps to red, press OK, change the blending mode to multiply, duplicate this by holding Alt or Command J, and change the blending mode to screen. And right now the screen is affecting both the dark and the white sides, right? So the dark is being brightened, which we don't want. So we're gonna double click on here, push the sliders like this, maybe around here, and hold Alt or Option on the Mac, and then just drag to the side like that, so that we just brighten the brightest parts and leave the dark parts alone. And I think this looks good. Press OK. Hold Shift to select 2 of these and group them together. We're going to toggle this off. Press on here. Choose any of the selection tool of your preference. I'll use quick selection tool. And I'm going to press select and mask. Then I press select subject. And did a pretty good job, but not too great. So I'll go in and fix the little details. Now I think this part is the tricky part. So to fix the hair follicles, we're going to use this brush, increase the size a little bit, and basically dampen the sides like that. I'll increase the shift edges just a little bit more. So it's made a second background, right? So we're gonna hold this, drag it above this like that, and press this to toggle on. Now I want to invert the mask, right? So we do Alt or Command I and bring back this image. We can delete this from here. And to change the background, go hue saturation, make sure this is clipped onto it. And we can basically change it to our liking. I hope this helped. Thank you so much for watching this video, and remember to give us a like and subscribe. And don't just subscribe, hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads, and see you in the next one. Until next time, keep creating.